Welcome back, Nick Lenz. Comic Corner, Classics / Non-Classic. This is episode number 887 and Doubleshot number 781. I have at least two Marvel trades. The first one came out roughly about 5 years ago, like almost 5 years ago, from an event called Original Sin, which a lot of people like this event. I've never heard anything negative about this event. I mean, yeah, there's one thing that I think that was really dumb for this event, and two tie-ins that really had no business being tie-ins. Yeah, because the story they were telling there, because it didn't affect anything related to Original Sin, that was Guardians of the Galaxy and Avengers. Yeah, these two are the only ones I can personally think of where tie-ins really meant nothing. They had no business being tie-ins at all. At least the other ones were set up. This miniseries was definitely... This is actually one of 3 miniseries from Original Sin. The other two was Original Sins, which was an anthology book, which half the time I really had bad artwork. The other, of course, was a series that my friend Edgar really despises. It's the Iron Man vs. Hulk miniseries. Yeah, this is the better one. This is Thor and Loki, the 10th Realm. This is a 5-issue limited series written by Jason Aaron and Al Ewing. I should point out, though, when they released this series, they released it as issues 5.1 to 5.5 Original Sin. The artwork for the first 4 issues are done by Lee Gerbert and Simon Balashi, I think is how you pronounce the name. Yeah. And then, of course, yeah, these two pretty much do all the first 4 issues. Yeah. Though they kind of swap for some reason for issue 4. And the last issue is done by Simone Balachi, Lee Gerbert, Simon Skoronsky, and Mark Carcino. The cover art is done by Dale Cohen, Jason Keith, who does the first issue. The second issue is also by Dale Cohen, but artwork is done also by Ivan Sikoria. And issues 2 through 5 are done by Simone Balachi. Yeah. I love the tagline of this. Hell have no fury like a sister scorn. Yeah. Lucky enough that this miniseries was definitely established thanks to Original Sin. Thanks to, of course, the thing opens up where a lot of the tie-ins virtually started off. The Thought Bomb thing from the Thought Bomb caused by the Orb back in, I think it was issue 3. Yeah, issue 3. So this launched this miniseries. Thor found out they had a sister. So what does he do? He goes to confront his stepmother. I say stepmother because for some reason, I don't know why, apparently a lot of writers forget the fact that Frigga is not his mother. His mother is a woman named Gaia, who is Mother Nature. Why in the world do a lot of writers think that Frigga is Thor's mother, even though it's completely untrue? It's been established for years. Why do other writers keep forgetting this? So Thor goes visit his stepmother, who's actually one of the All-Mothers. By the way, Thor's biological mother is actually part of this group. Yeah, it's a group of 3 women who have been who basically they're like, one is Odin's wife. The other 2 are former lovers of his that are part of this collection called the All-Mothers. And Thor confronts Frigga about his sister, who is this woman on the cover, Angela from the pages of Spawn. Yeah, Bendis added her to the Marvel comic universe after Marvel bought this character from Neil Gaiman, who had won the rights to this character from Todd McFarlane. Yeah. The only reason why I've heard that Neil Gaiman decided to get this character away from Todd McFarlane is because Todd McFarlane didn't pay him for the issue he basically did when he created this character back in Spawn number 8. Yeah, that's his character's first appearance. In her first Marvel Comics Universe appearance back in Age of Ultron number 10. Yes. And she's constantly worn this outfit. Yes. This sexy outfit that she's known for wearing. And prior to this particular miniseries, she had been part of the Guardians of the Galaxy for a very brief period of time. A good 6 issues. Well, I'd say 6 issues. She actually left after the Trial of Jean Grey's story. After that crossover ended, she popped up in one more issue of Guardians, and she never appeared in the book again until toward the end of Bendis' run. Yep. So Thor goes to this place called Haven, Which, by the way, this is actually a set of pages of Loki, Agent of Asgard. Where Loki knows this map that had like all the realms, and there's an X right on top of one of them, and he figures that's the 10th realm. So they go to 10th realm. Apparently, this realm has been hidden for years. And then all of a sudden, they open this up, and apparently, there are actual angels from this place. No, and in case you're wondering, God is not here at all. There's no mention of him. It's just a realm for angels. Yeah. So they go there, and Thor wants to know where his sister is. And he asks this constantly. Of course, Loki goes to have a brief conversation with the Queen of the Angels, who, by the way, like Mother Nature, is an old flame of Odin. Odin shows up toward the end of this miniseries, and apparently also his brother shows up here. Somehow, I looked up online, apparently he returns here, first time since Fear itself, so he'd been dead for about 3 years, and then he came back here. And of course, now then he appeared later on, Jason Aaron's run for Thor. So, and throughout the second half of this, now, apparently Angela got some epiphany or something like that, where she decides to abandon the Guardians, go home, because apparently she found out she's related to an Asgardian. And apparently her real name is Azraf Odin Sarah, I think I pronounced the actual name correctly, but for Angela. And it is confirmed she is the daughter of Odin, because her mother was the Queen of Angels. Yep. So, and Thor and her have a brawl throughout the second half of this miniseries, and then like Odin shows up, tell me you need to go home. Okay. For some reason. And then they go home and go back to whatever the heck they were doing prior to this. I mean, it's a good miniseries. I do appreciate both Jason Aaron and Al Ewing doing this miniseries. It's almost like the story is left incomplete, though it does set up, believe it or not, 3 series for Angela. Yes, 3. First is Angela, Asgard's Assassin by Karen Gillan. And actually a really good miniseries, a really good ongoing series. They also had the debut of Angela's former lover, Sarah. This, of course, is continued in the pages of, well, because this miniseries actually is referenced in Angela's second series, Angela, Queen of Hell. It's 1602 Angela Witch Hunter. That comes right after Angela Asgard's Assassin. And then we have Angela, Queen of Hell, which was canceled after 7 issues, of course, right after they had female Thor show up. And then after this series ended, she showed up in Guardians. Excuse me, for pretty much... Damn it. Give me 1 second here. Yes, Dad. Okay. Okay. Alright. Okay. Alright. Alright, bye. Anyways, before I was really interrupted. Yeah. So yeah, she shows up in Guardians, and then she pops up in the pages of Thor for a couple story arcs. She popped up in the League of Realms storyline. Well, in the second one anyways. The one featuring return of this group. And then, like, right after this storyline wrapped up, she popped up a couple more times after this. Even popped up in the first arc of the most recent volume for Thor. And now she is the leader of the Asgardians of the Galaxy book, which is done by Cullen Bunn. Which they're revisiting stuff from Fearless Defenders. And, of course, Angela's own solo book, which is which I actually do like the fact that Cullen Bunn's doing that. After this miniseries, it's actually really good, despite the fact that it kind of feels as though it kind of cuts the story short because Odin says, oh yeah, I'm back, let's go home and basically do crap. That's what it kind of felt like to me, but this is a really good miniseries, and unlike the other one, this one basically is still part of the regular Marvel Universe, while the other miniseries, the Iron Man versus Hulk miniseries, this one is not ignored. Oh, and also, the first 2 issues is a 2-part wraparound cover. Look at this picture. I mean, you're thinking, okay, is this the cast of the book? I mean, you have Loki, the way he looked from the Age of Asgard series. You have Angela in the Dead Middle. You have Thor. You have Odin, who, by the way, doesn't show up to issue 3. Then you have this woman, I think that's supposed to be Frigga. I'm not really sure, but yeah. This is, of course, a fantastic series. Give this book a 9.5 out of 10. Now, Thor prior to this, had went on hiatus after issue 24. Loki Age of Asgard, I think this one hiatus after issue 6. Yeah, it was right after the first arc was completed for Loki Age of Asgard that it went hiatus for this miniseries, and then right afterwards, it went back to the way it was. But in the case of Thor, Thor God Thunder had one more issue before it was relaunched simply as Thor for 8 issues. Excuse me. And after Secret Wars, it got relaunched as the Mighty Thor for like 23 issues. Excuse me. And then it got renumbered to 700, renumbered back to its Marvel Legacy numbering for a very brief period of time, just for the Death of Thor storyline, which concluded the Jane Foster stuff, and then was relaunched again just last year. So yeah, it's roughly gone through, since its miniseries, roughly about 3 relaunches in a course of 4 years. I'm not kidding about that. 3 relaunches in a short period of time. But yeah, but there's that. Next up, it is a series that actually is something that was kind of started by Bendis, but done by John Hickman. Fantastic the series this is. This is Secret Warriors Volume 1, Nick Fury, Agent of Nothing. Yeah. Now, I should point out, though, that there's a couple things in here. First, you have the first 6 issues of the Secret Warriors comic book and material from Dark Reign New Nation. The Dark Reign New Nation story, that's actually written by Bendis, but the whole series itself is written by Jonathan Hickman himself. I initially thought this was Matt Fraction. My mistake was Jonathan Hickman. And this book also has some connections to the S.H.I.E.L.D. comic, which Hickman was doing at the same time this series was coming out. Started in 2009, ended in 2011, ended after 27 issues. And no, it didn't have an ending, though it did have a crossover with Thunderbolts, a one-shot crossover, when they had one of the characters guest on that book. Now, the lineup for this group is actually quite interesting. I mean, Nick Fury is the overall boss of this team, but this is one of several teams from an organization known as Caterpillars. Yeah, that's the way Hickman sets up this group. And the group is comprised of Daisy Johnson, aka Quake, the daughter of Mr. Hyde, Jerry Sludge, the son of the longtime Thor villain, the Absorbing Man, and yes, he is also the stepson of Titania, despite the fact these two have never met. Yeah, Jerry Sludge has met his father, but he's never met his stepmother. Also, apparently, from what I've read later on, he was conceived prior to him getting his infamous powers, and somehow he inherited his powers. Somehow, it's never thoroughly explained. We also have the character Alexander, known as Phoebus, the god of fear. That's his character right here. We also have JT, who is known as Hellfire. Yeah, he did show up at Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., though they may have been human for some reason. I don't know why. And also, he has this thing for hitting on Daisy Johnson a lot this whole series, before these two end up having sex later on in the series. And before it was found out he was double agent. Yeah, this is before that. Let's see, we also have Yo-Yo, who's actually got pretty early replaced with the character Gateway, who joins the group a little bit later. And, of course, you also have the character Druid, who is the son of C-list Marvel character Dr. Anthony Druid, a character that was killed off back in the mid-1990s in a miniseries called Druid. He got killed off in the last issue, issue 4. Yep. And despite the fact that this is called Secret Warriors, it kind of feels like that this group act like supporting characters in a book basically being a Nick Fury solo book. Yeah, there's also reference to Zodiac in here. We also see the debut of the Howling Commandos PMC. I asked my dad what this initially stands for, because, well, he has worked with stuff like this. It stands for Private Military Company. And apparently, they couldn't find any clients to hire these people. Now, apparently, this group of Howling Commandos was, by the way, the group is named after the legendary squad from World War II. And this group is made up of 1,200 former S.H.I.E.L.D. agents who refused to transfer over to Hammer, probably because they didn't want to take orders from Norman Osborn. And Nick Fury decides to hire him as clients. He basically decides to bankroll them. But even Dum-Dum later on, like, okay, how are you paying for this? As far as I know, I don't think it's ever revealed where Nick Fury gets all of his money from. Yeah, and of course, he sets up his own army. He gets his hands on shield carriers. Gets a brief fight with the Sentry. Yeah, he shows up in here. We also have the debut of the Hydra Council, led by Baron Wolfgang von Strucker, along with Madam Hydra and Viper, which even Viper has been usually known as Madam Hydra. Madam Hydra is a separate person. It's not revealed until issue 6 of who she is. Who is she? Nick Fury's girlfriend, Contessa. For some reason, she's supposed to. We also have Kraken, Hive, and the character Gorgon, who got killed on pages of Wolverine. And Hickman decided to just, okay, let's just resurrect the Hickman. They even talk about it here like, hey, is he supposed to be dead? Yeah, because resurrected by the Hand. Yeah, the Gorgon gets resurrected by the Hand. Yeah, this is actually a really good series. And, oh yeah, it's also revealed that his classic battles with Hydra back in the 60s and 70s was all a lie. That's according to this series, mind you. But I don't think the Hickman disrespects those stories. It's just a retcon. Yeah, apparently he retconned it. Apparently Hydra has been in control of S.H.I.E.L.D. for years. Which, believe it or not, that plot point was actually adapted for Captain America Winter Soldier. I'm not kidding about that. They took it from this very comic book. And of course, yeah, this comic was also loosely adapted for Season 3 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. A season that featured roughly 3 characters from this comic actually appeared on the TV show. Of course, they mentioned the character Gateway, but because he's a mutant, they can't exactly have him physically appear on the show. The other character that did appear on the show was Daisy Johnson, Yo-Yo, and Hellfire, which they made him human for some reason, even though he really is in the comics. I don't know why. They teased this group in the show, but they just didn't develop them. Yeah. The Secret Warriors in live action flopped because it seemed like though they had a good idea, but it just seemed like they don't know what to do with them. That's just the problem. But this is a very good opening story for this long-running series, and it's really good. And there's also hints of stuff later. That's one thing I praise with Hickman. He's one of the very few writers who sets up stuff early on and pays off later. I give this book roughly a 9.5 out of 10. It's really, really good. The only writers I can think of besides Hickman who sets up early and gets paid off later, I know Grant Morrison has done it. I know Scott Snyder has done it. And Jeff Johns kind of does it. Yeah, he kind of does. But off the top of my head, there's not many other writers that have done that, where they set this up early and it gets explored later. Now, at the top of my head, I'm trying to think of any other writer who does this. I think Bendis kind of sets some stuff up, but he has to depend upon other writers to explore it. Yeah, I know Joshua Williamson has done that too. He's done that recently, especially in the pages of Flash. Yeah, I like writers who actually set some stuff early on and gets explored later. Like the stuff here with the Zodiac. That's explored in a later issue, by the way. Yeah, where I think it's Nick Fury says he's not Scorpio, because, well, he's posed as Scorpio. It's actually, I believe it's, they mentioned Sagittarius. Apparently also that Wolfgang von Strucker has also got a Zodiac code name, and so does Dum Dum Dugan. Yeah, this is explored later, and when I get a chance to get hands on that trait, I will explain what the heck this means, because that's a good setup, and I love the symbol on the back of this trait. It looks so good. Now, those of you curious about the whole white stuff, yeah, Hickman is known for doing that. Yeah, Hickman, the artists who work on Hickman's books have got a reputation for doing that. Yes, they've done this with Infinity. They didn't do this for Secret Wars. No, Secret Wars is probably the only comic I can think of that's by Hickman. They didn't do this whole white page thing. So the only books that have done stuff like this have been just this series, S.H.I.E.L.D., Avengers, and I believe he did for Fantastic Four. You don't have to confirm if that's true or not, but I know for a fact he doesn't work for Marvel anymore because he works for Image. And he does the Black Monday Murders, which is a really good comic book, by the way. Yeah, I don't know if anybody knows this is really weird. With the exception of 2 writers, like everybody who left Marvel in the past 6 years all went to Image. Every single one. Matt Fraction, Kel Zuhanik, Hickman, and Brubaker, like almost every writer who has left Marvel Comics, like I said, in the last 6 years, have all but two went straight to Image. The only two who didn't was James Robinson and Brian Michael Bendis. These two went back. These two went to DC. The Robinson went back to DC. Yep. So that's it for this particular review. My next review, I'm gonna do 2 Iron Fist trades. Yep. But that'll be my next comic con. My next review I'm gonna do is Fairy Tail. Okay. But until you see the next review, bye.